regular meeting of the Board of Public Works and Safety of Connersville is now in session. We'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance with Jim Barrett.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll have our invocation by Reverend Judy Fitchett.
Let's pray together. Good and gracious God, we are grateful for this group of people who have come together to do the work of this community. We pray for each person here and their families, and we pray for this group as a body as they work together. We pray, God, that your guidance be with them, that their words be kind, that their foremost thoughts be in serving this community in a way that shows your hand in their work. We ask that you bless them as they meet together, that you guide their thoughts, and that their own deep abiding faith allow them to serve this community in the ways you would call them to do. All this we ask in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, well, everybody make sure your cell phones are turned down or on your ringers. And I'd like to have Gary Winstead and Brad Coulter come forward, please. What did you do? Okay, they've been recognized by the AWWA, and this is Gary. He spent 35 years with the Connersville Utilities. And this is Brad Coulter, and he's been there for 30 years, and we just wanted to present you these, and thank you for your service to the water company.
Thank you, Kip.
Look up here for, you want to get a little closer, Harold?
Oh, I worked with him all that years. I still stayed with him.
All right. Thanks.
Let's do it one more time. Did you get him, Darryl?
I got it.
All right. Okay, now we'll have roll call.
Okay. Jim Barrett,
Here.
Tim Bentley,
Here.
Jerry Irvin,
Here.
Harold Gordon,
Here.
Annette Reedman.
Present.
Okay, we do have a form. You have you were presented the minutes. Is there any additions or corrections? If not, I'll ask for to pass them.
I make a motion that we pass it.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Pass. Okay, in new business, we're going to have Chief D come up and explain. We're going to have a demonstration with the canine dog, the drug dog.
Hi. The last meeting, Mrs. Reedman kind of opened the door to talk about a problem that plagues all communities, but ours is the drug abuse problem. And as officers, we know that we can't arrest our way out of this problem, but we are taxed with the enforcement of the drug issue. We are taxed with the enforcement of drug laws. So we have a drug detective, narcotics detective, Scott Phillips, but unfortunately he is in court right now. So he has presented me with some information for what happened in the last year. And in the last year, they made 57 arrests for dealing, 72 arrests for conspiracy to deal charges, and 83 possession of narcotics arrests. And that's 212 arrests in the last year. So that kind of gives you kind of an idea of where we're at as far as drug arrests and what the problem is in our community. And it takes a lot of things to come together to combat this problem. And I know you asked about treatment, and I did make a list. It's kind of a rough list of what treatment's available here in Connorsville and in the area, and I'll pass those out. Those will also be available in both of our lobbies. The police department lobby, 8:30 to 4:30, Monday through Friday, and the dispatch lobby, 24 hours. You can pick these up, and we'll change it. If anyone in the community is doing treatment or serving, if they want to add it to the list, just let me know and I'll add it. A big part of our drug enforcement is our K-9 officers. We have 2 K-9 officers. We have Officer Kevin Perry and his partner Leo, and we also have Lieutenant Scott and his partner Diesel. And he wants to talk just a little bit about what the K-9 does as far as drug enforcement, and then he'll do a short demonstration if we can have just 5-10 minutes of your time. Okay?
Thank you,
Thanks for your
Carol.
time too.
Start this train wreck in here. Off. Live. Okay, good evening, everyone. Some new faces up here. I'll introduce myself. Lieutenant Chris Scott, I'm assigned to second shift. Off. Live. Assigned to second shift. Currently, as you guys can see in here, I'm assigned as one of our K-9 handlers here. This is my partner, K-9 Diesel. Officer Perry is assigned to third shift. Currently, at the moment, his partner off. Live then. His partner is, his dog's name is Leo. Both of our dogs are purchased from Violent Kennels, which is northern Indiana, around Peru, Indiana. Just give you some numbers. Last year, we had 47 agency assists. That's us going to help other agencies like Rushville, Union County, Brookville, Wayne County. We're in a compliance. If another agency needs a dog, they will start calling around, and if we're available through the chief's through the chief's approval, we can go assist them. So we did 47 of those last year. Last year, 38 involvements with the drug task force is going out on search warrants with them, locating drugs, and several other arrests that the task force does. Other computer programs, so all our arrests are not documented because of the confidentiality. 11 arrests as far as just us through CPD, through me and Perry. But there's also other arrests that are made to the drug task force, we'll just hand it through them. Last year we also did 216 hours of training, okay? We do 2 8-hour blocks of training a month, and we also go through a recertification process, which was 35 hours. So a lot of hours and a lot of training goes with these dogs that we, I'm sorry? Oh. That we have to go through and maintain, okay? Both our dogs are dual purpose K-9s off, which means they have 2 jobs. They're one part of their job is patrol, is to protect us, to locate somebody hiding in a building from us or whatnot. About 90% of what we use our dogs for is our narcotics work, okay? Diesel and Leo are trained to hit on 5 different substances. When they locate those substances, they make us and the other officers aware that they will passively sit down and stare at it. It's no different than it being hidden here or inside of a vehicle, okay? Once they lock up and stare at it, that tells us that we know something's there, and it's held up through the Supreme Court that we can search, okay? Once he locks up and stares, the behaviors taught to him to respond once he smells those 5 different type of odors, and he will simply lock up and stare at it, just similar to a bird dog, okay? As you guys can see, high energy, both dogs off. They're both Belgian Malinois, okay? Very high energy type dogs. As you guys see, cannot be still. When these dogs come out of the car, when they leave home to come to work with us, they're in work mode, okay? So he thinks he's supposed to be in here sniffing. I don't know if you guys, the audience can see he's already sniffing around here. Very great tool for us out here on the street, okay? I have asked the chief to hide some substance in here. don't know if everybody can see it or you guys can see it. It's a general area. Should we start over there? How he's trained is they associate the odor with a tennis ball, okay? It's a game between me and him. He wants to play with Mr. Tennis Ball, so he knows if he smells any of those odors and tells me that they're there, we get to play, okay? So the only thing I have to do with Diesel is put him in the position to work, as far as searching a car or inside this residence or wherever we're at. And all I have to do is get his attention and act like, I'll probably just start sniffing it. And act like I've thrown a tennis ball, okay? And once he sees that motion, he'll take off and go and search. I have to give him the command. Okay, here. He'll just go around the room and start sniffing everything without tearing up anything. So, we'll see if you can find it. Without causing a train wreck. They will get as close to it as they can. Okay, he's found it here. What we've hidden in this room is 28 grams of heroin. Okay, that's one of our biggest problems out here. That's why I brought in some heroin. Okay, we're also issued drugs to train with through the DEA office. Okay, these are all sent to us. They're all weighed and they're kept locked up, which allows us to train with these. Once we're done training, we bring them back and lock them back up. Okay. As you can see, he's locked up and he's staring at what he's waiting on is for me to reward him. Okay. So without causing a he wants his cup. I'm trying to get him to stare at it before he just watches me. Hey, check it out. Now he's happy, so he may be still now, but is there any questions from you guys or anything?
How long does it take to train a dog like that?
Most of the dogs they're trained in Europe as a competition dog. Diesel and Leo are both are competition dogs in Holland before they come here. They'll train them and compete with them over there mainly about 2 years. For some reason they will move on to another dog, and then our kennel here, Violent Kennels, purchases these dogs and brings them here, and they correspond the odor with the tennis ball, so they're trained for narcotics here. Narcotics or cadaver dogs or explosive dogs. So usually, from what I've been told and what I've seen, usually about 2 weeks, these dogs are trained on these odors and react, because they've already been exposed to the reward system in Europe for doing good. They get to play. Okay, so as you guys can see, he's not even worried about me anymore. He's got Mr. Tennis Ball and he's happy. But then we go through, we'll go up and pick the dog and keep the dog for a week, and then we go back through a 6 weeks course. Okay, and it's numerous training hours of building searches, patrol work, and narcotics work. Okay, it is an ongoing training process. I mean, we have to keep these dogs going. Okay. Any other questions?
Just very impressive. Does the dog stay with you 24/7 or?
Yes. The dog goes with me at home. There's a kennel that is at my home, and when we go home, he goes in his kennel. It's kind of weather, so sometimes it gets too cold. He gets to come in, but yeah, they stay with us and our families at home.
Rhino, may I make a comment?
Yes.
Thank you for coming to the meeting and explaining all of this. I think this is what the people of Connersville need to know, the good work that you're doing, And my dream is for everybody in Connersville to get behind you and cheer you on and try to eliminate some of this. And I think if there's anything that any of us can do, we'd be more than glad to do it. And thank you for protecting our lives.
Thank you. And it is an ongoing battle and war out here. I mean, it's every day, and it's something that the public does not get to see. The public gets to see what's put in the paper. You know, it's an ongoing battle out here.
I
It really
cheer
is.
you when I see it in the paper, though.
Thank you.
I sit in my family room cheering.
Thank you.
You know, I think we also need to look at people on drugs and the rehab that you spoke on earlier. You know, we need to be able to be compassionate people. You know, so often we look at people on drugs, and so often they are is bad people. But you know, we need to find the compassion as a city to help them along too.
Sure, we sure do.
Well, thank you, Lieutenant Chris.
All right. Any
And
other
thank you,
questions,
Carol.
anything?
for bringing him.
I do have one question, just a side note. I thought it was great today. Thanks for coming in. But how often do you guys go into like the schools and things? And the reason I ask that, I have a couple high schoolers, a middle schooler, and I know you guys have been there because I hear them come home, and as soon as they bust through the doors, I get the drug dogs was at the school, and it's always kind of a negative thing. But I mean, how often? I mean, do you guys go in the school and kind of explain what the dog does and kind of in a positive, proactive way, or?
I'm sorry, Mr. Bentley. We also do numerous canine demonstrations,
Right.
morning length. This is kind of quick, but usually it's an hour, maybe an hour and a half demonstration in our
Sure.
elementary schools. We also go to our middle school and our high school,
Okay.
and we conduct the same type of searches up there to make sure our schools are drug-free. We take the dogs through the hallways, we sniff lockers, and then in the high school, we'll go out and we sniff cars, okay? So, and I'm proud to say, we haven't had an incident for several years. I've been here 12 years, and we haven't had that many incidents as far as in our schools. So we do get invited a lot, maybe every 3 or 4 months through the school year. We would go and search the schools. What we normally do is, once we are notified that they want us to come through, it takes us a little while. Our 2 dogs cannot handle searching the whole school. So what we're fortunate enough, these other dogs that are in our training area, we train with Wayne County, Richmond, Union County, all these other canine, the other agencies that have canines in our department. Once we're notified, we will notify them saying, hey, we are having a school search. Can you guys bring your dogs down and help us go through the school? And they will come down and help us, the same as us going to help them. We go to Wayne County, Richmond, you know, it's just a call. And usually just takes us a couple days to get it all lined up. And say, we're gonna go through on this date, meet here at this time, and then we'll roll up there and search the schools.
So, I guess part of my question was, do you guys do convocations where you take the dogs in to kind of show the kids and explain the purpose of what the dogs do too?
Yeah,
Okay.
numerous canine demonstrations throughout the year. First graders, sometimes I feel like a teacher sometimes, and we also do Paws in the Park. We do demonstrations for the Relay for Life. You know, we're always going to different these once they have to call and be approved through the chief's office. But I've done Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts.
Yeah. Okay.
Numerous demonstrations with the dog. We like to do that because we want our dogs in public, and we also want to know that our dogs are friendly. Okay, so we always have a very social dog here.
Right.
Well, I know at the FOP, they have a law enforcement thing out there that I went to, and they had a guy out there dressed in what kind of uniform was it?
That's our bite suit. Very expensive piece of equipment we use. We have to train with our dogs ourselves, so we have to put this equipment on to protect us from when we're doing apprehension work and stuff like that. And as soon as the dogs see that stuff, I mean, they're immediately,
Well, what I was impressed when I went out there was how the officer was talking to this guy, and they started fighting, and the door opened up on the police car, and now here come the dog and got him. You know, that was, and I enjoyed watching that. That was glad I wasn't on the other end of
they're
it.
trained to protect us. Officer Kevin Perry's vehicle is equipped with that piece of equipment. I do not have that. You know, so maybe we can get one of those purchased. Yeah, it's a button on his belt that he can push, and it's a remote access to the door, and it'll pop the door. If the officer's out here in trouble and we need our partner to come help us, all he has to do is hit the button on his belt, and the door automatically pops open, and the dog's coming out to help us. Okay, you know.
That was fun to watch.
Yeah, it's fun to watch, but you know, maybe we can get one for my vehicle one day. You know, there's so many different. There's alarm systems for. I think Kevin's vehicle has also a heat protection in the inside of his, and Manya, who puts on the Paws and Park demonstration for us, she helps us purchase. There's so many things that are purchased out in this community for these dogs and for us, and we can't thank them enough. I think Kevin got that last year. It's a computer system. It hooks inside of his car. It monitors the heat inside the car. If it gets too hot in there, because it's computerized, it'll activate the car, it'll roll the windows down, and maybe even, I've seen some where it rolls the windows down automatically and the lights come on. Okay, and then it'll send a page to a pager on his belt saying something's wrong with your car. Okay, so hopefully this year we'll be outfitted with one of those. You know, these are kind of like our kids, and we got to take care of them. So other than that, so we'll see what happens.
Well, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Your Honor, may I ask one other
Yes.
question? I went to the Drug Coalition meeting, and I was so impressed with the professional people who were conducting this and involved with it. But in it, to what Tim was asking, are there teenagers on the coalition team that talk to the teenagers at school? Was I understanding that correct?
Yes, the SAD girls that were there at the coalition meeting, they do a lot of activities at the high school.
Okay, so it looks like your children and my grandchildren are covered.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they just got, you know, the drugs, they got a lot of money to spend, and they got the time to do it because they work 24/7, so it's nice to know that we got these fellows out like this and the rest of the police force, and so, thank you guys.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you both very much.
Okay, we'll go on down, and we have a request for a bucket drive for the Fayette County Cancer Society and Bertie McKenna.
We would request to have from 8 till 2 on June 18th
Yes,
and
July 1st and 11th. And the July 1st and 11th also.
That's for the banner.
That's for the
And the
Oh,
banner
okay,
goes up.
okay, okay.
Yeah, okay, yeah, they said that would be all right. But the food drive is the 18th from
Okay.
8 to 2, and we'd like to have it at Grand and 6th and 24th and Grand.
Okay.
That's where we've had it in the past. Last year, we couldn't because of the construction, and we had to take Central. But
Okay.
the other, 24th and Grand is a really good location. And this is for my team, the Holy Sprinters from Sprintersville Church. This is our boot drive.
Okay.
It's one of our fundraisers that we have. I think that's about it.
And you also want your banner from July 1st to the 11th?
Yes,
Okay.
please. She said she said they put it up the 4th, and I said, well, that's a holiday. She says, well, we can put it up the 1st,
Okay,
and if that's all right.
that's fine.
Appreciate putting that up. It's a big help to let people aware that we're up there. And hopefully, if the weather's right, I bought a windsock with a little dancing man that we're gonna have up there. He hasn't been able to dance much. Every time we've set him up, it's rained, and you have to take the machine in.
Okay, I'll take a motion to pass
I'll make
this.
the motion.
Need a second?
Second.
Any comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll look for y'all at the relay and at the boot drive. We actually have boots, purple and pink boots, so
Okay,
we'll know that it's us.
thank you, Mrs. McKenna. Okay, you have before you a resolution 2016-01. It's from the non-reverting funds from the Parks Department. And what it is, they've collected the money and they're putting the money back in these, they're putting that total back into the line items that are there. The Miller Center is getting $393. The Miller Sports is getting $4,801. The soccer is getting $575, and the pickleball is getting $198. So I'll need a motion on this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any more comments or additions or anything? Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Done. Okay, the next department will come up is Utility Department, Mike's Bottomley.
Hello. Just a couple things. Should have received my annual report. I'm not gonna go over that whole thing, but there's a couple of mistakes I made. On the future planning, I put painting the outside of the office building on Grand Avenue. And last time I checked, we don't have a building on Grand Avenue.
No, we don't, I read that.
It's the office building on Vine Street that we're looking at that, so. And also on the overtime report, I normally put, like 2014 numbers to compare to 2015 numbers. It looked like we really did a good job saving overtime, but that was in 2014, we put all those meters in. So, the 2015 overtime numbers is kind of what we're going to be shooting for 2016. But don't look at it like, oh man, they saved all kinds of money in overtime. It's one of the things we have to get those meters in, so it was a big jump those couple of months. And also in the revenue report on the stormwater, you also notice a big jump. So we had a $92,000 reimbursement from the Grand Avenue projects that NDOT, it's a matching grant or percent grant, so we got that money back into the year and it was put into that line item. So that's the reason for the big jump. Also, I'll try to give a brief description of our EMS4 separation projects, our pre-treatment program. And I think what I'm going to do each month, pick out something and come and talk a little more detail about it. Maybe have Aaron Johnson come in and talk about the pre-treatment program, and then the separation projects, we'll talk a little more in depth each month, something new. Don't think we have time to talk about everything in utilities in one quarter works. There's a lot of things happening. Also, lastly, Brad and I would like to invite anyone who wants to stop by the office, talk to us about utilities. That'll be great. And if you want a tour at the water plant or the wastewater plant, give us a call. We'll take you through those two areas. Is there any questions on the annual report? All right. We do have a couple issues that we're working on right now. We believe there's three important issues with utilities. One is the GIS mapping. The other one is our wastewater treatment center. And the last one is utility infrastructure throughout the city. We have a lot of old pipes, this and that. But the mapping is most important because you kind of need that to fix the other two items. So we are, right now our GIS is out of date. Hasn't really been worked on since 2008, 2009. The past people in the last few years has tried to make adjustments here and there, but really the last big update with 2008, 2009. So right now, Bob Shoemaker is trying to help us, which is the wastewater plant supervisor, get this thing caught up. But at this pace, it's going to be a while. So we have contacted Strand to help us to get this thing caught up. 3 phases. First phase is they're going to help us with the CEC building. I think that was the location of the old water plant years ago, so there's pipes running every which direction, and we've been helping them. Actually, Brad and the crew been over there helping those guys. We don't want another CEC leak like we had a few years ago when they busted that main line through there, and I think the water had to be shut down in the city to get it fixed. The second part is they will take all of our old layouts, blueprints, CDs, we have information laying everywhere, combine that, and at least get us updated in our GIS. And the phase 3, start locating our valves, manholes, lift stations, the hydrants, booster stations, and etc. And the point is, if we have a leak, we should be able to look at our GIS and see where the water lines are going, where the nearest valve, so we can shut this thing off and fix it. Right now, it's well, I think there's a valve over here, down the street, it won't turn, then we have to call somebody, wait another 3 hours, and pay somebody to put a valve in for us. So hopefully, this will save us money in the long run. The reason we're contacting Strand, basically because they've been working on our separation projects already. They gave some updates to our sewer lines. They've done a past long-term study for us update. They develop our City of Carnesville ADA plan. So they know what's going on in the city, and it makes sense that they will help us through this if the quote comes out what we need it to be. But the GIS, if you're not familiar with that, it's a mapping system. Location of sewer lines, water lines, what size the pipe they are, which direction they're flowing. Inventory of everything. Like I said, when we get all the valves located, then we can figure out which ones work, because some of these valves are old, and when you do turn them and break them, then we have another leak. So then what we can do after that, we can figure out where we can put new valves to turn off certain areas in town if we do have something major that bust. It's a great tool for new employees, people like me. Information at our fingertips. So we have a lot of old timers here that kind of knows where everything is at, but here in the next few years, we got to learn this stuff on our own and know where this stuff is located. And this also, when we get this part done, it will include the other departments, street departments. GIS is just so many things you can do with that system. But just want to let you guys know that's what we're working on. And when we get our quotes, we'll get with you guys and figure out how we can do this. Okay. The second thing, water capacity. In the past, we've been told, economic development, that we can pump 8 million gallons of water a day. That's not really true. We could, except for we have some problems that needs to be fixed. And one is well number 4, which sits down behind the park. I guess in 2009, it broke down, and they haven't fixed it because it's such a high iron that it really didn't pass all the tests. So they decided not to fix it. So really, we have a max of pumping around 4 to 5 million gallons a day, not 8. So what we want to do is get a quote on what it would cost to relocate that number 4 well, because we have to get it out of that area because of the iron content, and also get a quote on the old water plant. And we believe that we can get this water plant updated, fixed, and increase our water to 8 million gallons like we kind of promoted. So for the same price that we can fix this number 4 well. I know the old water plant, we haven't really put much money into it over the years. It's just been sitting there. We do run it once a month. It is a backup for the city, and we have needed it in the past. But I think it's very important we get that plant updated, some new pumps. Just some things needs to be done. But I think we can have to look at the quotes. But I think we can do that instead of spending a bunch of money relocating one well, we get this plant up and running, updated, and it has 3 good wells. And that's another project that we're working on. Hopefully, next couple of meetings, we can come back with better information on what it's going to cost. But I just want to make sure when we promote the city, when we say 8 million gallons, it's possible, but we can't do it tomorrow. And it's going to cost money to do that. And is there any questions over anything?
Just one quick question. When you talk about the old water plant, that has to be manually operated, correct?
Yes, the guys will go over once a month and run it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not like that, if you have to put it online, you have to have somebody there to start it up and bring it online.
If we get it online, we could start up at the plant, at the
Okay.
new plant.
At the new plant?
Yeah.
Okay,
If we get everything that we need to get it updated with.
that's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
In other words, with the update, you would be able to do it from the plant on Park Road.
Right.
Okay.
Anybody got any more questions for Mike?
Sounds like you're busy.
Thanks, Mike.
Mike?
Thank you.
Okay, now we'll have an update with Park Department. Jesse?
As some of you may know, our secretary, Sharon Klein, retired officially as of December 31st. So I've been in the process of trying to hire someone to replace her, which hasn't been an easy task, but I think I've done it. Erica Murray came to us with a resume, which I think you all have. She seems to fit what we need, so that was my decision, hopefully with your support. She'll be our new secretary.
John, do you need a motion to hire her or anything, or?
Never hurts to have a motion and a vote.
Okay.
Yeah, just for the record, I recommend.
Okay, need a recommendation, so I need to start off here. Anybody give me,
I make a motion to hire Eric Murray.
second? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay,
All right, second thing, Charles Mingadope, he has been with us since 1990, is retiring at the end of the month.
you couldn't drag him down here, huh?
I couldn't. He's sick today, so.
Oh, that's a good one.
I just need approval of his retirement, so.
Okay, I need a motion
Motion
to,
to approve the retirement.
Second.
all opposed? All four signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. He's retired.
Not yet.
Okay, Dale? I think he's got 2 contracts for us.
Okay, what I've got is, actually, we got 2 contracts instead of just one. The first one is a agreement with Reed Hospital on a monitor defibrillator. It's one that they supply to us to carry on an ambulance, and we just need an agreement for that rental agreement.
You might explain what they do with this agreement, that they repair it and everything.
They take care of all maintenance on it. We have to take it up every 6 months to be gone through, checked to make sure it's the defibrillation side of it's working, the monitoring side is working correctly, and they take care of all of that. All we have to do is take it up to them, and we send the truck up there just about every day anyway, so it won't be any problem getting it up there, getting it checked and looked at and gone through.
Who takes care of it now?
Right now, it's still Reed's. They own it, they take care of it now.
Okay.
And this is one that the hospital had, and when the hospital turned services over, we brought that over with us, and then just changing the contract from Fayette Regional to us. They've had, Fayette Regional's had it, I believe since about 1994, I believe they've had this agreement with them. It's been a good while that they've had the agreement with Reed on the monitor.
So will we have an agreement with Fayette Regional and Reed?
No, just Reed. Reed owns the
Just
monitor,
Reed.
yeah. And then Reed maintains it, and we have the agreement with them.
Okay, I'll need a motion to accept this agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay.
Okay, the second one is a ambulance service agreement with Fayette Regional, and if you approve it today, we have to take it back to Fayette Regional to have their approval also on it before it would be active. What this does is it gives the city the right to bill the transfers out of the Care Pavilion, the Jerry site up on the north end of town, is owned by the hospital, but is managed by a company, I believe it's in Texas, and we need an agreement with the hospital so we can bill the services. So that, and that's what this one I just put on your desk is for. I took it down to Mr. Baker yesterday and we made some changes to it. So if you guys agree with it, we're ready to move on with that one too, so we can collect.
John, you got any comments on it, John?
No, it looks all right. We changed the language so that this applies to the pavilion only. That was the intent. And originally it appeared to apply to the whole hospital. But now it's pavilion only. That's your understanding?
Yes.
Yeah. And there's anything else?
I think that's it.
Yeah.
That was the only changes we made.
Yeah, well, there was an attachment. I didn't know if you wanted to comment on that or not.
The attachment that he's talking about is a rate, of a discount rate to just show the hospital we're trying to work with and want to work with them. It would be on page 6 is where it's at.
Gail, I think I have one question, and I'm asking this question just for information. How is this affecting Fayette Memorial?
It's through the, and correct me if I'm wrong, John, but the way I understand it, that it affects us through the Medicare, Medicaid, and the private insurance sides of it. By it being managed by this other company and owned by the hospital, for our billing agency to bill through the hospital, it has to have a contract attached for that billing right.
Okay.
I think
You know, I just think we're fortunate to have a local hospital,
Oh, yeah.
and I absolutely think Reed is wonderful, so I have no qualms there. But I don't want anything that would be detrimental to our local hospital. So this is just,
Yeah. See, actually, the way I understand it, by the hospital wasn't able to build this out by them owning the ambulance service and the geriatrics, that they couldn't bill through the Medicare side. By us being a separate entity, we can now.
okay.
So it's really, there's no problem detrimentally with the hospital that I know of.
Okay, that's fine.
And in page 6, that with the rates, we lowered the mileage rate a little bit with them on your approval, and also on a BLS non-emergent run, we dropped that down, trying to just be a good neighbor, good steward type deal with the hospital. But we do need your approval to be able to do that.
Quick question, on those rates you dropped, they're still in line with pretty much other companies that does
Yes.
transportation?
Yes.
Okay.
So question I have, did the hospital ask or do they intend on us to lower the rates?
No,
or-
they haven't said a word. They haven't seen this contract yet.
Because I guess when you go back to page 4 of rates, it says that rates will be adjusted yearly and so forth. So we got in the contract that we're gonna review that annually, and we
Yep.
kind of took this on as a kind of walk along and see what happens, I
Yeah,
think, right?
This discount rate was talked about with the billing agent. He was kind of the one that recommended it, just to help, and everything that's there is up with the normal
Right,
rates of
right.
all ambulance services.
I mean, I get that we need the contract for billing, but I think my thought would be maybe we table the rate change for maybe 6 months or something. We review it again.
That's totally up to you guys.
You know, I mean, we took the ambulances on because we thought it was going to be a positive cash flow.
Yeah.
Looks like it is. but I know we still got some maintenance that we're doing to get the one unit back running and things, and, I just hate to give unless they're asking, I guess is my thoughts.
Well, the other side of that too is part of the equipment that the hospital has give us, like our cots. They give us 2 cots that go on the truck, and if you bought those brand new, they're $16,000 a piece. So
You're talking the hydraulic cots?
yeah, electric or hydraulic.
Yeah, I went for a ride with them once, and they were showing me how neat they were, and they were explaining the cost of them. So yeah, I'm familiar with that.
The first one we bought was $9,000, and now they're up to $16,000. But that was one reason we also looked at this, was the hospital did supply us with some pretty good equipment.
Right.
And they also throw another monitor into that system. It's a ballpark of $12,000–$13,000 for the monitor, and that's why we were looking at.
So they've really done their giving to us, so.
They've helped us too.
Yes, so,
And that was one reason we looked at this with our billing agent too,
okay.
of trying to be a steward.
Is there any more discussion? Okay, I need a motion to pass this agreement as is.
I'll make a motion to pass this agreement.
I second.
All in favor? Is there any more discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
One no. Passed.
That's all I have, unless you have any other questions.
No, I guess that's all. Thank you, Dale.
Thanks.
Would you like me to read the claims?
But not right now. You're not there yet.
Okay, sorry.
He's anxious.
You're right, I'm not there yet.
Okay, is there any more old business that come before the board? If none, we'll go on. Is there any miscellaneous business? Okay.
It's kind of miscellaneous and it isn't a sure thing, but I've had the pleasure of talking to a couple of people who are considering locating in the downtown area.
That's good news.
Yes,
Are they business type, or
Yes.
do we need to send them to Dan?
pardon?
Do we need to send them to Dan there?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay, well, after the meeting, would you get with him?
I absolutely
Okay.
will.
All right. Now, the claims.
All right. I'm jumping the gun, but here we go. So anyways, the claims total, we're not going to read through all of them, but the city of Connersville claimed the grand total was $135,838.32. And for utilities, the grand total was $243,545.31. We'll need a motion to approve those.
Need a motion to approve the claims?
I'll make that motion.
Need a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's passed. Okay, we'll open it up to the public. Is anybody got any comments or suggestions or criticisms or anything? All right. Well, if none, then I'll make we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, adjourned.